Nu drabbas allt fler barn och helt oskyldiga människor av det grova våldet. Jag kan inte nog understryka hur allvarligt läget är. Sverige har aldrig förr sett något liknande. Inget annat land i Europa ser något liknande. För vi ska jaga gängen och vi ska besegra gängen. Vi ska ställa dem inför domstol. Är de svenska medborgare ska de låsas in på mycket långa fängelsestraff. Är de utländska medborgare ska de dessutom utvisas.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أنتم تشاهدون قناة تذكرة. فيديو اليوم هو عن السويد. ستوكهولم هي مسرح لحرق القرآن. السويد هو البلد الذي يؤسس لسحب الجنسية من المزدوجية الجنسية، يؤسس لقوانين لعدم تعليم اللغة العربية. السويد يؤخذ فيه أبناء المسلمين ليوزعوا على عائلات سويدية. فهل هذه حقيقة وهل هناك أسباب؟ يا أصدقائي، لا تنسوا الاشتراك في القناة واللايك قبل أن أبدأ في شرح الأسباب. نعم، هناك شيء من الحقيقة من هذا، والأسباب موجودة ولا تتعدى 4 أو 5 أسباب وسأشرحها. إذ أن السبب الأول هو ذوبان وانصهار الجيل الأول الذي دخل السويد. فهذا الجيل كان قليل التدين وكان منكرا للهوية الإسلامية. يضاف إلى ذلك أن الجيل الذي أتى من هذا الجيل الأول كان جيلا أيضا مشوه الهوية، أي لا ينتمي لا إلى السويديين ولا إلى الآباء. فماذا حدث؟ كان ذلك الجيل المدلل بحسب السوشيال والدوائر الحكومية وغيرها، واسأل خذ.
Ömer Sarıhan still finds it difficult to go to the cemetery. Nearly 50 years ago, he left Turkey for Sweden thinking it was a peaceful country. Today, he's standing at the grave of his son Serdar, who was shot by gangsters this past March. Sarıhan is still in disbelief. Written on a stone are the words, "We miss you so much."
My son was more than a son to me. He was my best friend and companion. He was everything to me. A hard-working person with principles.
The real estate agent was shot dead in front of his wife and children in his house near Stockholm, allegedly an act of retaliation. Serdar's son, Ömer's grandson, is allegedly involved with a gang and is suspected of having shot at the family home of a rival gang member.
They broadcast a photo of my grandson on the TV program Wanted. 3 hours later, my son was dead.
His grandson's alleged involvement in gang violence weighs heavily on Ömer. He and his family have had no contact with his grandson for years.
We put in a lot of effort so he could get a job and live a normal life, but unfortunately, he chose this path.
Gang wars have been spreading fear and terror in Sweden for years. In 2022, they claimed 62 lives, more than ever before. In Stockholm alone, the Wall Street Journal calculated that the murder rate per capita is 30 times higher than in London. Conflicts primarily revolve around turf wars in the drug trade. Sometimes it's simply about defending so-called honour. Most of the perpetrators hail from migrant communities. They shoot through apartment doors and at cars, throw hand grenades and plant bombs. An increasing number of innocent people are killed as a result. The government is on high alert.
Sverige har aldrig förr.
Sweden has never experienced anything like this. No country in Europe has experienced anything like this. I've asked the national police chief and the commander of the army to join me. We want to see how the army is helping the police to fight against criminal gangs.
هذا الجيل انحرف منه الكثير، وهذا الجيل صار يستعمل المخدرات، صار يتعاطى الكحول، أصبح جيل يبيع المخدرات، إلى أن وصل أن يكون عصابات تسيطر على أسواق بيع الكوكايين والهيروين والكنابيس. أمثال العصابات التي موجودة في رينغبي والتي اسمها دي بي ديث باترول فرق الموت، ثم الفرق القتل الأخرى التي تنتمي لشخصين كرديين، وهذه العصابة يسموها فوكس تروت ذئاب كردستان. وصار هذا يقتل هذا ويجيب عليه الثاني بأن يرسل قاتل لأم الثاني، ودخلت السويد في دوامة عنف.
Also known as Strawberry, once a close confidant of Rawa and labelled as his right-hand man, has allegedly broken with Rawa after a personal dispute. A ruthless battle ensued, and everything seemed to be justified. Because these men were so close to each other, they knew exactly what one's weak points were and where their closest family members were located. It all started with a shooting in Istanbul on the 6th of September 2023. The shooting was allegedly ordered by Ismail and was aimed to take out Rawa. It was all caught on camera. CCTV footage showed two men arrive on a moped. One of them hopped off and fired several shots towards 5 or 6 people, one of which was supposedly Rawa. Without hesitation, these people fired back. No one was seriously injured, but it was immediately clear that retaliation would shortly follow, and so it did. Allegedly, this attack resulted in an immediate revenge just a day later, on the 7th of September. The 60-year-old mother of Ismail Abdo was taken out in her own home in Uppsala. Even though we've seen a lot of unprecedented lows already in Sweden, this is a good depiction of just how ruthless Rawa and his gang were. Not even someone's mother was safe.
السبب الثاني هو ظهور الفاشيين الجدد، ثم ظهور الشعبويين السياسيين الذين بأصوات هؤلاء الفاشيين الجدد وصلوا إلى الحكم ووضعوا أيديهم على مقاليد الدولة.
The people meeting here make no bones about their beliefs. They openly professed being part of the National Socialist community. Neo-Nazis from throughout Northern Europe have gathered here in a Swedish backwater, the far-right fringe of the far right. Almost 600 members and sympathizers of the so-called Nordic resistance movement are present. They're calling for a Nordic revolution, the creation of a racially pure society, and they're prepared to use violence to achieve those ends.
This movement is so dangerous because it's the most militant organization among the far-right groups. It's become the dominant power in the scene.
السبب الثالث هو الإلحاد الغليظ في السويد، إذ أن السويد بلد كله ملاحدة، أي 50% ملاحدة يعلنون هذا. أضف إلى ذلك 50 المتبقية شكلا مسيحيين، أنهم يحتفلون بعيد الميلاد إلى آخره، لكن العقيدة مشوهة، إذ أنهم يؤمنون بالداروينية وبأن الإنسان أتى من الخلية الأولى ثم تطور إلى أن وصل حالة القرد ثم صار إنسانا. السبب الرابع ألا وهو الدستور السويدي الذي يحمي أولئك الذين يحاربون الأديان، فإذا أحرق القرآن أو فعل أي شيء ضد أي دين فذلك من حرية التعبير. إذن هذه هي الأسباب. إذا أعجبكم الفيديو فلا تنسوا الاشتراك في القناة واللايك، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
The Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson addressed the nation to highlight his concern about unprecedented gang violence, saying he'll seek help from the military.
We will hunt the gangs and we will defeat the gangs. We will prosecute them. If they're Swedish citizens, they'll be locked up for a long time in prison, and if they are foreign nationals, they will be deported.
2 people were killed in separate shootings in Stockholm on Wednesday, and a woman thought to be an innocent bystander was killed when a bomb tore up a house in Uppsala, west of Stockholm, in the early hours of Thursday.
The analysis, based on the information we have now, is that it is likely that this incident is related to the national conflict.
The conflict involves 2 gangs, one led by a Swedish-Turkish dual national who lives in Turkey and the other by his former lieutenant. They are reportedly fighting over drugs and weapons.